So, if you think I'm not calling this episode First Doody, but Doody, you're crazy. Because in the second episode, the aliens are just literally eating the Enterprise and shitting it onto itself.
Oh, I was wondering how you would tie it in. I was thinking because the mud bath looks like a pile of feces, but...
Nope. It's because there's alien poop everywhere.
Yep. Eating the nitroline or whatever it's
called.
One
of these days, but someone has to wrestle all this power from Chris, but none of us will.
Because
we're so much lazier.
I have said before, if anyone ever wants to edit an episode, just ask me. I wouldn't
like to learn, so...
I do feel bad that I exert complete editorial control. But until you stop me...
That's why all your bad jokes stay in, while all my great jokes get cut out.
I don't cut that.
And most of the time that Jake and I say stuff that's brilliant, like brown eye.
I forget
there are so many brown eyes.
I forget what it was, but a few weeks ago...
It's true. Brown eyes are a dominant trait.
There was an episode a few weeks ago where I told a real clunker, so I cut it. Because, no one... I didn't even get a pity laugh. It was just like...
Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, Star Trek Podcast.
Ow!
Today is episode
114.
114.
Oh.
Woo! There it is.
During which we will be talking about 2 episodes of Star Trek The United States.
Cast.
Star Trek The Next Generation
wow.
is the name of the show.
This is going to be a great episode. We're all either tired or slightly tipsy on wine.
Porque no los dos.
My name is Jake, and today I'm joined by...
Hercules.
Chris.
Ames.
Caitlin.
And Liz. Hey, Liz is back.
Wow,
I haven't left. She's been here all week.
I've been
She's really underfoot.
She lives here now.
I was hiding under the porch because I love you.
Yeah,
She has made herself the head of the cats.
Yes.
She has asserted her dominance.
The shitty musical by
Pete
Sir
on my
Andrew
cats?
Lloyd
Hell no, though actually that does come up in my notes somewhere this week.
Oh.
Interesting.
Cool.
You saw Cats once.
I did, on Broadway.
What was it they
Your
said?
parents thought you'd love
Postman Andrew Floyd Webber? Is that what he called him?
What?
The one who...
The Kevin Costner film that inexplicably has Tom Petty.
We're already on a tangent. We haven't even started.
Having Tom Petty never needs to be explained.
Well, no. So here's the thing. So it was a
there.
Kevin Costner movie about a post-apocalyptic world.
Oh, The Postman.
The Postman.
Oh, The Postman, yes.
Where people had totally forgotten about society for the most part. There's like a guy who's
Mr. Burns.
There's like a guy whose name is Ford Lincoln Mercury because there's a sign that says Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Fucking stupid.
So that's how
Tondisi.
So exactly. So that's how far this is.
That's
However,
100.
Tom Petty is still there, still Tom Petty, and the same age as he was when they made the film.
As he would be.
Was he cryo-freeze?
Apparently.
That's even dumber.
So it was just a weird movie. It was. I mean, it's fine. It's kind of jingoistic. It's all America, post office, yeah. But,
Speaking as the son of a postman, no postman has
we
that
also
much
know
pride in the post
that in
office.
1992, the Supreme Court ruled that the postal inspectors had illegally entrapped a farmer
Into buying child porn.
Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point.
What
And
episodes?
it was Wesley.
God!
What have you
Jesus.
done?
So this
Wesley
week,
was the farmer or in the porn? I just want to make
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
What are we watching this week, Jake?
these episodes also take place in 1992, the same year as that landmark Supreme Court decision.
And the postman.
And sure. The first episode we'll be talking about is The First Doody. In The First Doody,
I don't get it.
we are the Enterprise is heading off to Earth.
Ooh,
Welcome to Earth,
How exotic.
because Picard is giving the commencement speech at the Star Trek graduation on Earth. And
is that like Disney on Ice?
yeah.
Star Trek.
He's going to be
Star
at
Trek
Pluto
graduation
costume.
on Earth.
So he has to go there to do
Donald
that.
and Daisy will
But
be
of
backing
course,
him up.
it's a great opportunity to pay a visit with Wesley Crusher, Dr. Crusher's
Is it though?
son.
Boo!
And Picard's also son.
What did he do to fuck up this time?
Well,
Wesley.
so
Well.
as they're getting to Earth, they get a message from Admiral
Some admiral.
Earth that says
ground control.
Is that like Captain Planet? Does Captain Planet get promoted?
Commander Starfleet, Admiral Starfleet.
Why is that killing me? Why is
So Admiral Earth calls and she's
animal magnetism. You just
and
can't
she's
help
like hey, there's been a horrible accident, and everyone's hopes are quickly dashed after she says that Wesley survived.
She didn't say it was a terrible accident, just an accident.
So apparently there's been an accident, and Wesley's okay, but there's some kid, Josh Albert, who's dead.
Whoop. And we'd care more if we'd ever heard of him.
So we're trying
before.
to find out what's going on. So it basically turns out
his dad was sad.
Somebody let Wesley on this like elite team of pilot and didn't realize that he's a rat.
I bet he hacked his way into their computer and put himself on or something.
Probably. No, I think there's this Locarno guy. So anyway, he's on this Nova Squadron. They're like these hot shot pilots. It's like Top Gun. It's like that movie Top Gun or that other movie Days of Thunder. Yeah. So they're doing the Top Gun thing, and Josh Albert totally gets goosed.
His goose was cooked.
He gets his butt pinched?
Yeah. So he gets goosed. He
gets dwarfed.
So they're trying to do this maneuver, and the ships crash into each other, and everybody manages to beam out except for Josh. He's dead. So there's a big investigation, and at first everyone's like, "No, man, we were totally doing what we were supposed to do. It was no problem. We were following the rules, did everything right." But
except all these other things.
But Wesley's guilt-ridden over the death of his friend, but he's gonna go along with it anyway until Picard catches him red fucking handed in a lie.
Yep.
And only then, when he has his back against the wall and no other choice, does he choose to do the quote right thing and fess up to this tribunal that in fact they were doing an illegal maneuver and that Josh was not properly trained or ready to do that, and that is why the accident happened. So
Take that, Wesley.
Wesley the rat, everybody. Rat's on his friends.
Wesley the Weasel.
Also doesn't tell the truth until he's forced. Anyway.
He's like a Vulcan.
Yeah. So, 2 strikes. Everyone hates Wesley. So, the next episode is Cost of Living. Cost of Jesus. In this episode, we are joined by everyone's oh my God! She almost redeemed herself in that last one, but no.
This was a good episode
Lwaxana's back. Lwaxana's back, and she's gonna get hitched to a man she's never met.
Sounds like my grandmother, frankly.
And meanwhile, Alexander
Nigerian prince, right?
is a little piece of shit.
She'd married a couple of guys she met online before the Nigerian prince took all her money. Yeah, Grammy's great.
So yeah, also little Worf is having a problem. Alexander and
of course he is. He's Alexander.
Worf can't handle it, so they're trying to. So Deanna has this terrible idea about making a fucking legal document.
She is so bad at her job.
Like really, they need a ship's lawyer. We've been saying this for months.
They need a better ship's counselor.
Yes, maybe
Like,
Deanna.
Maybe Deanna
can switch.
daycare, foster parent.
So
Rozhenkos, where are they?
So opposites attract.
Yikes.
And so Lwaxana and Alexander, they form a quick friendship. They bond quickly, and
they're like glue.
And then they go to this weird orgy planet in the holodeck with like jugglers and mud baths, and they get naked, and it's kind of weird. And I don't know why Worf didn't kick her fucking ass when he walked into that, but whatever.
Her ass was covered with mud.
That's true.
Because he's Worf, and she somehow would have kicked his ass.
That's true.
What are you doing with my son?
Why are you naked with my son?
Why are you naked with my son in a pool?
Listen.
No, the post office made me do it. So they're doing this weird thing, and then we meet Lwaxana's bridegroom, and
oh boy,
Campio
and
Tony J.
Yep.
Boy was
he's got some big floppy balls, but also lobes.
And boy, is he a pill. He's got this. He's got this little toady that walks around with him and advises. He's like C-3PO,
but somehow worse.
Yeah.
Oh, 3PO's alright.
Yeah,
and he never cockblocked anybody.
So he's got and the guy's just a total square.
Oh, that's not true.
And of course, Lwaxana, she's a freewheeling lady. and this guy's a total square, and his little toadies all around, and it's just she's not having any of it, so she'd rather go off and hang with Alexander for some reason instead of getting married. And then the guy's like, you have to wear this freaking hideous dress and this grandma wig, and it's just
I would have looked great in that dress though. Just putting it out there. And the wig.
And So everyone's like, and then the whole message is like, hey, Alexander, you should do what you want because you're a kid and you should do what you want. And I'm an old lady and I should do what I want. So she, instead of wearing the stupid dress, she goes to the wedding naked as she is wont to do as a betazoid. And then there's some pearl clutching, and her husband does a jilt. He jilts her at the altar along with...
That means she gets to keep the engagement ring, right?
That's true.
Was there a ring?
No, I don't know. But it's just, that's a thing.
But if there's a jilting, you can't call the next day. So there's a jilt. Naked? Everyone's jilted, and in the end, Worf decides to join the mud orgy himself, and Deanna puts on a massive hat. And all is well.
I think Majel looked good in the wedding dress. I don't think Lwaxana looked good in the wedding dress.
We were watching a film the other day that had Majel Barrett in it that was not Star Trek.
Oh, Westworld. The original Westworld.
No shit. Wow.
Yeah. She got to clobber someone in the bar fight.
Film.
Nice.
I've never seen it.
I don't know how they came up with the HBO series. Was it HBO or Netflix?
Yeah, HBO.
Out of that movie.
The rough concept of an amusement park populated with robots
who run amok.
But yeah, no, the original movie, it's very 70s. It's very much...
Isn't Yul Brynner in it?
He is.
Who's Yul Brynner again?
The king from The King and I?
Yeah, Ramses from Ten Commandments. Which you still
I've
haven't
never
seen.
Ten
One of the
Commandments.
Magnificent Seven?
But when you say The King and I,
he's
you're
not the
talking
king of
about
Siam.
the king? Oh.
Yeah.
Short ball man.
Because he's ambiguously brown, but
yeah.
Russian.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, that film, it's very strange. It would never be produced today. It's kind of like a bridging of the shitty movies of yore and what eventually turned into the Terminator.
And Majel looked great.
Yeah, Majel looked good.
She played the head prostitute.
Yeah. And this would have been because it was like 72 or 73, I think the movie came out. So it wouldn't have been that long after.
The Nurse Chapel days.
Yeah.
After TOS, but before TAS. That golden era.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
So, Wesley ruins everything, as he is wont to do.
I don't know.
There was a lot going on this episode.
was a pretty tolerable.
Let's talk about Booth.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
Really? I was bored by Booth.
Oh, no.
Boothby?
Great.
You mean My Favorite Martian?
Yes.
See, that means nothing to me.
That was the name of the sitcom that he started.
He was also Mr. Hand in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and he played the devil in the Damn Yankees film adaptation.
Oh.
Which I think I said last time that you guys mentioned who this guy was that was in this episode.
My note was, Boothby, if McCoy had become a gardener.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cute.
That's fair.
He's supposed to be 104 years old if you do the math.
Fair enough.
Well, he looks great.
Yeah.
So so Boothby talks to Picard about whatever Picard had done that Boothby had to help him out of a scrape. And they go out of their way, and I think the writers decided specifically to go out of their way to not tell you what Picard did.
Yeah.
So I can only assume he knocked up a teacher.
Oh, you know who it was?
That does seem like they're... Oh, yeah, Sir, who was heading the committee there.
Oh, no, I didn't mean her. No, I was going to say it was that Beta Z superintendent of his.
Betazoid. What do you
Zoid.
think it is?
Because I can't remember.
It's a tough word.
But because I really like that at the beginning where they're comparing. He's like, oh yeah, my superintendent was a Vulcan, and he's like, oh yes, mine was a Betazoid, fully telepathic. Mine didn't suck, Deanna. Cough.
Oh.
And then he sips his tea, Earl Grey hot.
But that's none of my business.
But yeah, no, Boothby was I did like the little bit of continuity though, where they're talking about the wrestling match he'd been engaged in or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's all in the legs, all that running I did. It's like, oh, that's right, because he ran that mile or whatever.
He was a marathon runner.
Holy shit!
He
Talk
ran
about
that mile that time.
He did the presidential fitness exam.
How many jumping jacks is that?
I don't know. I think I failed it.
I love taking those
Flex
exams.
arm hang, that goddamn flex arm hang.
Yeah, look, you know what?
Fuck it.
He can't tell me what to do.
Wait, what?
Plus, he's
You don't
dead
remember the
now,
flex arm hang in
so-
the presidential fitness test?
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know what the presidential fitness was? This just did this stop by the time you were
No,
like?
they must
They
still
couldn't.
do
No, you
it.
had where like every year it's like, all right, we're gonna make you do some jumping jacks. We're gonna make you do some
Yeah,
steps.
I remember
count how
those.
many
Run a
times you
mile.
can run around the gym in
Yep,
6
I
minutes.
remember the
Yeah.
running of a mile.
So the flex arm hang was what they made the girls do instead of pull-ups, where you had to go up to the bar and you'd have to hold yourself up there, and they count how many seconds you held yourself up there.
Really, I
We
remember
did
having
not
to do
do
pull-ups.
We
Maybe
did.
they
We
did-
did
maybe they
neither
did
of
that
those.
in your school.
All I know is they voted out.
Oh, I mean, Jersey, you know, they're like, well, your air quality is shit, so I guess just see what you can
Yeah.
do.
They voted out HW, brought in a fat fuck that liked Big Macs, and the presidential fitness exam was forgotten forever. But Star Trek.
No, this was
Big
I
Macs.
got like a little certificate signed by President Clinton.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't remember this
Fucking
at all.
fat hypocrite.
Certificates?
certificates.
They just checked me up and said, "Good, you're not
I mean,
actively dying."
This was also maybe it was because like in my youth I somehow was able to do 500 sit-ups once.
Damn,
Yeah, I don't have those abs anymore.
I want those abs.
Me too.
I
Let's
did
do
that.
500
I actually did that in
They were still
college. I would
squishy
do
abs, though,
like
to be clear.
I would do like 500
squishy.
morning, 500 night in college.
Anyway, Star Trek.
Star
And
Trek.
Star
How many
Trek
sit-ups
college.
can you do, Picard? Probably a lot.
Yeah, probably a lot.
Yeah, I like Boothby. He's a grouse. I would.
I thought. My note was: Is Boothby Hagrid?
Kinda.
So-
He's
Sort
just
of.
gonna befriends a couple random kids
the
and like helps them
groundskeeper.
around.
Does he have a
Yeah.
He
griffin?
knows every
Or a
kid.
phoenix?
Yeah, he
He's
knows.
a creeper.
He knows all of them, and he knows that Nova Squadron is not to be trusted.
He knows that people will do anything for Locarno because Locarno tells them to.
Yep.
People would jump off a bridge if they told them. It felt like it was like completely and utterly unsubtle.
Do they still have bridges in the future?
I
Imagine.
suspect.
Yeah, no, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge from.
I imagine they don't use it.
So-
There's a teleport on one side and a teleport on the other side.
So, do you think we don't know because he's dead? We don't see a photo of him. But do you think Josh also copied Locarno's haircut?
Oh, you mean with like the sideburns?
No, but like even Wesley had the
the
exact
swoop.
same haircut, and I went back. That wasn't his haircut in the game.
Oh, I was actually
Would-
just going to ask you. I was like, wasn't that always
Would,
his haircut?
would that theoretically be like standard issue haircut at the academy?
No, because
Yeah, but-
he was in the academy during the game.
But
he just had it cut
Harris
differently.
is so dreamy.
No, that like I
He is
think
dreamy.
I think the implication was supposed to be whether he knew it or not.
Imitating.
He was imitating Locarno.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I kind of wonder if Josh had been there, would he have also had the big stupid swoop?
I'm
Yes.
so surprised that you would even notice that.
Well, no, the deal was because partway through the episode, I was like, "Wait a minute, they have the same exact haircut." And then I was like,
It's
I
a
wonder
good
if-
swoop. They
I
did a
wonder
good
if it was
swooping.
like that in the game. So I went back and I was like, "No, it's parted down the middle.
Oh God.
Not like full 9, like just the front is parted, the rest is kind of. It doesn't look that bad."
It's Wesley though.
Yeah, no, Locarno's a little shit. Locarno is like, he's Kirk cut off before he could become Kirk.
Yeah.
Kinda like so because like I was also comparing him to Kirk.
Kirk would have loved his gusto.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
But like the thing is, like when Kirk was like flashy and foolhardy, he wasn't risking other people's lives
That's
and
true.
academic futures.
To be fair, Albert's the one that fucked up, and I don't.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
And
but
I don't-
Locarno was the
Yeah,
one who fucked up because he
peer-
shouldn't have been out there to
peer
begin with.
pressured
I don't. I
everybody.
disagree with that. See, I don't. You only hear that Albert fucked up because he was scared because Locarno is looking for excuses for why they did the bad thing.
yeah.
The only Albert,
No,
regardless
Wesley says at the end that
That he
Josh
wasn't ready.
wasn't
He
ready
wasn't
for
ready.
it and that they pushed him to do it because they wanted it to be really
Wesley
cool.
also says it wasn't Albert's fault.
Yeah, there's
No,
a difference.
Because it
His
wasn't Albert's
There's a
fault.
difference
It was,
between
it
pushed
was
him
the rest
into
of
it.
theirs fault.
They should have been looking out for him.
But
as a member of
especially
the team.
squad
I
leader
disagree.
Dickface.
I have a feeling Albert wasn't as much of a pussy as they make him out to be.
Well, that's the thing. There's a difference between, like, earlier they were saying, oh yeah, he was just scared and shitty. Later it's like, no, he just wasn't ready for this particular PS band maneuver.
Yeah, and exactly. It's because, I mean, you know, what they say, 100 years ago, all 5 kids died doing
Yeah.
this maneuver. Were all of them not ready for it?
Yes.
Ooh. No one's ready for it because it's too fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
No one should be doing this maneuver.
Nope.
So it's not really Albert's fault. Really, if it were Albert's fault, Albert should have just said, no, I'm not fucking doing it.
Wait, what
No,
side are you
peer
on?
pressure,
Are you
though.
saying that you think it's Albert's fault or no?
I'm saying it's not Albert's fault.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were saying it was, because it's definitely not Albert's
Yeah,
fault.
I'm saying it's Locarno's
Well,
fault.
I'm saying it's not
mostly.
Albert's fault because Albert wasn't necessarily inept.
no.
We
No.
have no proof for Albert
we don't know
being
that he was
inept.
inept, but he probably... It sounds like he...
His skill wasn't up to it because it
Yeah, but we
requires extremely high level of
we
skill.
only have Locarno and Wesley's word for that, and they're actively.
I mean,
Yeah, but
lying.
Wesley was finally coming clean. He said it when he was telling the truth,
Here's
so
the
I
thing.
think it was probably the
Here's
truth.
the thing. Josh Albert's skill was not up to this task. Neither was everyone else's. Josh just happened to be the first one to fuck up. Because it's such a tight maneuver. Like, he was the first one to slip.
No, he was only the first one, the only one that didn't beam out. We have no idea if he even slipped.
No, he did.
No, but he was the one who made the collision.
Yeah, his collision. Oh, no, but we don't know that, because what might have happened was
anyone could have fucked it up.
Anyone
he just
could have,
didn't
because
survive.
they thought
I guess
that
that's
we don't have enough information.
Their story was that it was a collision, but then they realized that the stuff might have ignited because of the opening of the coolant, which was necessary for that maneuver.
But
so it really could have been anybody's.
I think it was still a collision.
Oh, okay.
Because they did say that they have to be flying. They have to be flying very close in order to ignite it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's all Wesley's fault.
Oh.
Nah, it's all Locarno's fault.
No, it's Lwaxana. I went through a logic. My bullet points kind of progress. Lwaxana almost gets my sympathy at times, in that he seems to care for his team, but not enough to keep him from endangering them. And pressuring Josh Albert into a maneuver he's not ready for.
Pressuring all of them into a maneuver that none of them should even do in the first place.
For his own vanity and flashy pride. And then I think, is there a moment where we see him grapple with the weight of a lost life under his direction?
No.
Nope. No. And then my next bullet point is, fuck Locarno. But points for advocating on the rest of the squadron's behalf.
Points for hair swoop.
Points for hair swoop.
Ames does love a good swoop.
Oh, and so my conclusion was a paragraph. Maybe if he'd been forgiven, if he had been forgiven, he might have gone on, if he got a pass like Picard did, presumably did for whatever he fucking did as he might have gone on to become a good leader, a very charismatic leader, but that kind of his pride and his sense of ego gets in the way. He would have absolutely endangered an entire crew.
He would have been. I actually think that Josh Albert's sacrifice is not in vain, because it prevents the admiral that Locarno would eventually.
That's exactly what I was about to say. This is where bad admirals start.
On the other hand, though, this is also how bad Finneys start. So Wesley needs to watch out for the rest of his life now for this little asshole.
Revenge. I mean, here's my thought. My thought on him even doing... So this is the Culvered Starburst is this prohibited flight maneuver that gets everyone killed. They're practicing before the ceremony so that they can, have one under their belts before they do it at the ceremony and graduate in all this glory and honor. Wouldn't they just be expelled for doing a fucking illegal maneuver?
Well, but then there would have been a lot of, eyes on people to be like, how could you expel those talented youngsters or something?
Oh, they made a mistake. We'll write them up, but
They were probably thinking that if it were that amazing, they would have gotten away with it and been praised.
I don't know.
Boys will be
got a slap on the wrist, but it would have been worth it for the being legendary.
Even when they're doing the practice run, though, why are they doing this practice run when they know they're recording them on their ships and they're supposed to put in all of their schematics first? Someone would have figured out, you did the Culvered Starburst maneuver, you're fucking expelled. Expel these fucking kids.
They might have planned to erase the data.
Or they probably figure that unless something actually goes wrong, I'm sure they don't check the flight data system, right? They're not gonna inspect it unless there's a reason to.
You think?
I don't see it's not like after every plane has a flight data recorder and they only look at it if the plane crashes.
Yeah, but do they
in a post-scarcity society? The only thing you have of value is your time. Nobody is going to watch all that shit all the time. That's what I say.
I think that's valid.
And it's not I just think it's weird that there's no adult instructor involved.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I guess they are kind of technically adults themselves, but you'd think that there'd be a faculty advisor.
Yeah, someone checked out these.
Yeah.
Well, especially for that, for this particular club, it's not like it's the fucking 3D chess club where no one blows up.
Yeah. This is the thing, though. Here's the thing.
You're playing the wrong kind of chess.
They're still within the solar system, which now that we've got warp and space and everything, this is essentially I don't know, if there was a
park and ride where you learn how to drive.
Basically, yeah, it's like if a college had a motocross club, you'd check out the bikes and take them to a field nearby, and the teacher's I signed off, it's fine.
Yeah,
and it does seem a little weird that the only way they don't have any kind of recording equipment, they don't have any kind of supervision. There's just there's a weather satellite that happened to catch a glimpse of you.
They had recording equipment. They just blew up until they didn't.
Well, no, but there's nobody with a camcorder.
There's no surveillance
standing by. There's no a
drone
auxiliary ship there, to monitor it.
I mean, I think
they blew that up too.
I mean, theoretically, this is not the surveillance state that we currently live in.
But also,
you
do feel like there'd be more than just a random satellite there, if only because this is the capital, and you just think there would
but
be
not Saturn.
Well, you got to get threats before they get to Earth.
But not just that. I just think that in terms of they know that presumably they had to file their flight plan, so somebody knew that there was this group of kids taking potentially, I'm guessing, borrowed ships. They're not.
Yeah, they're trainer.
Yeah, they're
shuttles,
little ships.
Yeah, ships.
That they. So like nobody at Starfleet Academy. Yes. There you go.
Oh, it's cute.
Little.
So nobody at Starfleet Academy is like, all right, hey, flight instructor Bob, why don't you fly out with the kids?
Yeah, you think there'd be
make sure they don't get into any trouble.
Yeah, I suppose maybe the idea is, and I don't know how it works with real military academies, but with Locarno being a senior and about to graduate, the idea is he should be able to
handle it
on his own.
And he's probably charismatic enough that he could convince them that it's fine.
Did you see that hair swoop?
That's a nice hair swoop.
Well, yeah, so I've always been a little confused about how the academy works. So after you've graduated the academy, do you then get commissioned as an officer? Like, if he had graduated, would Locarno be an ensign the next day?
That's the impression I'm under?
That's what it seems
because
to happen.
Because Savick was a cadet. So she had not graduated.
She failed the Kobayashi Maru. No, she just participated in the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah.
She existed.
Well, yeah.
In the
I think the mission that turned into the Genesis mission was going to be like their final exam, basically.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, I feel like the way the Academy works in Wrath of Khan isn't how it works by this point. Like, I feel like at some point something shifted.
Okay, so if we're saying that the next day this Locarno guy could be serving on a starship, then he should be responsible enough.
Absolutely not.
But he is not, He's a garbage man.
Yeah, I know that. So we're going to see lots more of the actor, Robert Duncan McNeil, in Voyager. Lots and lots more. We can see Wang. We might see Wang. We'll see.
Garrett Wang?
Yeah, I was confused too. I was thinking the same thing.
Garrett Wang? He plays Harry Kim in Star Trek Voyager.
Did I write the wrong person's name down?
No, but when you said Wang, we were thinking you meant Garrett, not his car.
No, I forgot that was his name.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, obviously.
I know.
I only joke.
Damn.
Nothing I say can be trusted. And they were going to actually try to bring back Locarno as a character in Voyager, and opted against it because, 2 reasons. First, Locarno is irredeemable.
Yes.
And they couldn't figure out a way to make him redeemable. And also, they would have had to pay the writers of this episode for royalties for his character for all of Voyager episodes, and they didn't want to do that.
That's a lot.
So they just created Tom Paris, and they were looking for a different actor to play Tom Paris, and they were like, nah, none of these people are working out. Let's just go with the original one that we based the character off of.
What did I say they changed his name to? Rick DeCarno.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about this in the car, and I was like, oh yeah, this is Rick DeCarno. Totally different guy.
Like, that's the thing. I was thinking about that, because I know, I knew that before, that he was originally going to be Locarno. And I was just like, after watching this episode, you're just like, I don't want to see this guy get a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Because he's
But the swoop.
shitty.
I don't want to see him jettisoned out of Infinitube.
Like, even the little, he gave an impassioned speech, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, because he already,
He was doing the impassioned speech to manipulate people.
Yeah, which is what he does.
Yeah.
And it's like...
For selfish reasons.
Well, that's immediately obvious, too.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, come on, man, it's for the team. And it's like, no, it's really because your goose is going to be fucking cooked since you were in charge.
About the team, he would not have utilized the fact that there was a dead member who couldn't speak for themselves to besmirch their reputation.
Yeah.
Like, that right there, that moment is that's unforgivable to me.
After all of it comes to light through Wesley, though, he does at least take all the responsibility himself and not ruin 3 other people's careers.
Yeah, that's where he gets
still
That's
you get half a point for that. Another half a point for Spook.
Because I don't think it goes terribly well for any of the members of
Well, no, they get a whole year erase and
they get a year erase. They're going to be...
One of them's Wesley.
And like Picard says, it's going to be really fucking hard because everybody here knows that you got somebody killed.
So why did they have to erase his year on top of it? It just feels like he's already going to have the worst fucking rest of his time.
Maybe it was a mercy. Maybe it was like, listen, all of your classmates are going to fucking hate you.
Yeah.
So maybe you should just have a new class.
Start over from scratch.
Was he still a freshman?
I think he was a sophomore.
He had two pips. I'm assuming.
Oh, is that the years?
I kind of assumed.
Oh, I thought that was just what your rank in your squadron was.
I was only just because they did specify that Locarno was in his final year and he had 4, so I was I don't know for certain, but my assumption was that's your year bar.
Oh.
Which is
not. I also don't know for sure.
It might just be
how many
years
years the academy necessarily is.
That's true.
It seems to be until age 22 because Picard is class of 27, and he was born in 2305. Yes.
Okay.
So he was 22 when he graduated.
I was wondering.
Oh, but wait a minute though. They fucked that up then because he didn't make it in on his first go.
Oh.
So really, he should have been 23 if it's a 4-year program.
Whoops.
Or it's not a matter of years; it's a matter of
skill.
Credits. Yeah, you earn your credits, or maybe like you could Doogie Howser your way through it in a shorter amount of time.
And I could see if anyone was going to graduate early, it would be Picard.
Well, I was wondering.
He skipped a grade because he was
also. I'm just going to put this out there. I don't think Nick Locarno was anywhere near 22. He looked at least in his 30s.
Hollywood cat age.
I thought he was pretty young. I wouldn't have guessed 30s.
I'd say late 20s to 30s, probably.
I would have put him in mid-20s.
I would have said mid-20s.
I'm looking him up now.
All right.
He certainly looked a lot older than Wesley.
Well, that's because Wesley looks like he's still in diapers, and he's like
that's true.
20-something.
The thing is, Wesley looks like an actual person who would be the age that he's playing. Which if you look at kids these days, I'm like, wow, this is what 10-year-olds look like. They look fucking tiny.
He was 28, so good call, Jake.
Oh, nailed it.
We were off by a year. If he had just been 27, he would have still been mid-20s.
I would have taken that as mid-20s.
Well,
28 is definitely
27 I think is late.
26
actually.
I would call mid-20s.
Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3 early, 4, 5, 6 mid, 7, 8, 9 late.
Yeah. What's 0?
30, 40, 50.
Well, is it early?
No, it's
late?
just you're 30.
Very early.
You're 30 and then you're in your 30s. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but
on the cusp,
one day after you turn 30, you're in your 30s.
I mean,
but it's still just 30. It's not like
it's 30 plus 1 day.
I don't know. They don't classify it.
Boo.
So anyway,
40 is
that
really
Vulcan sucked.
Why?
Oh, he was a little bitch.
He was
but he was good though. He was
Vulcan.
No, that's the problem.
He was a little bitch.
Here's the thing. If he was a human, I'd have thought, that's right. That is he's a Vulcan.
Yeah, my notes specifically say this Vulcan is more conniving than usual.
Yeah, no, he was like
I don't know, conniving.
Romulan in disguise?
But certainly
buff down the head ridge.
Certainly wearing his aggravation and disdain on his sleeve.
Maybe he was a half
I don't know.
Vulcan.
That feels right though. I feel like Vulcans are always wearing their disdain
but
on their sleeves.
there's a way to do it that's right, and this wasn't it.
Yeah, Vulcans, like, that's...
This guy was just emotional.
You have to be dry and ironic in a lot of your intonations when you're a Vulcan. That's what you replace your emotions with.
Yeah, like, this guy wasn't a Vulcan. He just wasn't.
He had the ears.
Yeah, but that was all he was a Vulcan in name only. He was wine.
Yeah.
I feel like he also looked like kind of a poor man's Patrick Troughton and an even badder haircut than Patrick Troughton.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, he had like really bad eye bags, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, similar shaped head, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, he was a little droopy.
I mean, again, I enjoyed the character. I enjoyed his pointed questions. I enjoyed all that. He just should just take the fucking ears
with
off
questions
him.
as pointed as his ears.
He could have just been... He didn't have to be a Vulcan.
Yeah.
Fuck, make him an Andorian. Those guys love being...
Yeah, because I always do feel like you see way too many humans.
Yeah, and it was nice in their attempt to mix it up, but it's like, this guy's not playing a Vulcan. He just isn't.
I don't know if I agree with that assessment. I would have to watch it again.
Watch it again.
Because I didn't feel like he was...
No, he was really emotional for...
Yeah, no,
I didn't think he was being emotional. I thought of him as being really dry and sarcastic.
See, I didn't think he was dry.
Yeah,
I
he wasn't
thought
very
was
dry.
Just...
You don't think so?
No, he was. That's why we're getting too much emotion out.
Oh, see, I don't know if I feel that way.
Because
After
he's
rewatch
really
it.
kind of pleased with, how much he's seeing past them.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he's like solving a logic problem, and he would be pleased with himself.
No, they don't get pleased with themselves. They're not supposed to be pleased.
That openly.
According
Maybe
to them.
he's got whatever... Yeah, well, that's also true, and we know Vulcans never lie. Maybe he's got whatever Sarek had. He's starting to slip.
Vulcans
you don't know.
are so full of shit.
They are.
He's 200 years old.
Why do you think their eyes are brown? I don't know.
They're the worst.
So I did a lot of I got sucked into an internet hole on aerobatics.
And by the end it was just porn.
Yes.
You were watching anthropomorphic airplanes fucking.
Dude, the kind of fanfic that's out there, it's just weird shit.
Well, I mean, that Chuck Tingle probably has,
Oh yeah, pounded in the butt by
my
the Jaeger
private jet or something.
Yeah.
What?
Pounded in the butt by the Coolvort Starburst.
Okay, sure.
But like, so aside from all the other things, like I looked up, like the Jaeger loop was something that was made up for the show, but it's even specified like in Memory Alpha that it's a diamond slap formation, and they make an Immelman turn. I'm like, oh, now I know what an Immelman turn is, which is like you do basically a half loop. And then you roll to right, do a half roll to right yourself. And
would you say that you would do a barrel roll?
It's a half roll, but yeah. I also knew that you were gonna make a Star Fox reference.
Yes.
They
do kind of. No, I know barrel rolls are several.
But there was a maneuver in Star Fox where you would
try a U-turn. That's what it called.
Where you would do that, where you would go straight up and then you.
And you're upside down.
Yeah,
and
it was an Immelman turn.
Oh.
That's an Immelman turn.
Peppy, that fucking douchebag, would just call it a U-turn.
Oh, that little weenie.
I love Peppy.
Chuck actually broke his pattern for this one.
Chuck Yeager?
No. Tingle.
Oh, Chuck Tingle.
The novel is I'm gay for my living billionaire jet plane.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
What the fuck? Is this a real fanfic?
Oh my god, you need to look up Chuck Tingle.
Just
How do you not know about
Google,
him by now?
everyone at home, Google Chuck Tingle. Maybe not at work.
Does he write like parody?
Yeah.
He writes ludicrous, over-the-top erotica, which usually involves I was pounded in the ass by X, which is usually some sort of bizarre inanimate object
and
that has
it's
come to
often
life.
something timely, like in current events.
Oh, okay.
How is this relevant?
Liz made a joke
porn.
and then...
Oh, yes, sorry. So, yes, you have an actual
thing.
airplane stuff, though.
No, wait, so, like, okay.
Chris is just watching porn, that's
I
fine.
mean, two
Ames is getting testy, you can tell.
I mean, two interesting real-life connections with, like, what's going on in like, the whole maneuvers that we're talking about.
That.
For the Coolvort Starburst, like, the thing that they're supposed to do at the very end, where they're in their star formation and then they cross...
explode.
Well, they're supposed to ignite the plasma, right? So that's actually a real-life air show trick with airplanes.
Do they actually ignite their exhaust, or they just cross?
They ignite their exhaust. It's called, and this is one that I had a feeling you would like.
Fire, yeah.
It's called Dump and Burn.
I am definitely making the episode title.
Like Saturday night. Hey!
I'm going to take a burn and dump myself in a few minutes.
The idea is that they're going at high speed, they dump their fuel, and then they ignite it with the afterburner. And that's a flashy finale for an air show.
I cannot believe that. Why?
Dump and burn.
Why?
Dump and burn.
Why
dump
would
and
someone
burn,
do
Grandma.
that?
Because
dump
fire.
And burn.
Because it will be like fireworks in the sky. It'd be cool.
They do all sorts of dangerous shit.
I know, but that's an extra level of stupid.
Well, case in point, there was a real-life event I came across from 1982 with the Thunderbirds, which was...
Those marionettes.
Yes, and little marionettes. They're like the third oldest aerobatic
They're
squadron.
the not Blue Angels?
They're not Blue Angels, and there's one in France that's the second oldest, and then there's the Thunderbirds.
Les Holmes!
Yes, I think that's actually a good job. So they had like the Wikipedia article titled it 1982 like Thunderbirds Indian Springs Diamond Crash. Indian Springs was like the place in Colorado, the airfield in Colorado where this fucking happened, where they were practicing a maneuver and they were doing it was a 4-plane line abreast loop. So basically there were just 4 of them in a line riding parallel, and all they had to do was a basic loop. Just a loop-to-loop like you would on a roller coaster.
No.
And the problem was something went wrong. Either it was the lead plane's error, or what they found was that it was a mechanical issue. And they were supposed to, as they're coming down, they're supposed to level out. And they never pulled up to level out.
Ooh.
They just went straight into the ground.
Oh,
All
shit.
4 of them?
Either that or, all 4 of them.
Because they're all going visually off each other.
So
right?
that's the thing.
So if
What
one
the
guy fucks
fuck?
up...
No!
Yeah, they all stayed true to each other's course because they were trusting in the lead plane. The lead plane wasn't doing what he was supposed to, so they all crashed. All 4 pilots died.
Air shows are fucking cool, but they're horrifying.
They're terrifying because if that shit goes wrong, you've just watched
it goes wrong
A lot.
shockingly often.
Yeah. I
Like,
never want to go to an air show.
So often that it's like, why are they still doing these things? Because people die all the time. And, like, spectators die
Yeah?
fairly often,
Yeah, no,
too,
thank you.
where a plane will crash into the spectators.
Yep.
Like, that has happened.
That's why people go, though. Because they want to see that happen.
They're like, all right, honey, you stay here in the grandstands. I'm going to go warm up the car.
Yeah.
But it does happen more often than you think, like, that we would keep allowing these things.
I've driven down 128 when they do, like, the Hanscom show. So, like, I'll pull over and watch it from
Afar.
from the breakdown lane. But yeah, and it is cool. Like, it's cool seeing the planes.
Super cool from a distance.
Yeah, no, I'll watch videos.
I wouldn't want to be too close.
No.
Thanks.
So, yeah, Air Force concluded that the crash was due to a jammed stabilizer on the lead jet. But then the weird thing is that 2 years later, in 1984, an Air Force general had the video footage of the crash destroyed. Like, all copies were destroyed, and the master tape... Like, he sent people out of the room and destroyed the part of the master tape that was the end segment of the crash itself.
Oh, that's the point where the aliens...
The news media and the pilots' families were requesting access for a pending lawsuit and other stuff, and so the general was just like, well... What tape? It's gone now. I'm like, oh, this also feels like kind of relevant to the episode.
Thanks, Ollie North.
You're welcome. Speaking of tragedies, Mr. Albert comes and brings Wesley one of his old sweaters.
I saw that.
Oh, just twist that knife.
This must be yours. It's hideous.
My note was, he always said your sweaters were legendarily ugly, so I figured.
That's how he knew.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
I think it was one of his, like, it looked like to be the sort of the horrible brown one.
No, it wasn't brown. I think it was green.
But it did have, like, the frickin', like,
yeah, I don't think it's one that we've seen him wear before, because it's not on my list.
But it looks like the brown one, because it has that fucking...
Similar
that
faux...
Like, weird...
Maybe it's
weird cabling.
When you flip it inside out. Maybe it's a reversible hideous sweater.
Ooh. Actually, that would give it an extra point. Reversible. But also, we see the cadet uniforms. I don't know if we've seen the cadet uniforms before. If we have, ignore me. But they have pockets. No one else gets pockets.
Like big cargo pockets.
Yeah.
So we did...
I want pockets.
We did see it in the game, but I don't think he had pockets on it. So I think
was
that was an
enamored
addition.
with these pockets.
Also, had we seen the long pips in the game? Because I don't remember.
I don't remember, to be
No, I don't
honest.
think
I was
so.
too busy looking at his hair when I double-checked earlier.
No, I don't remember for sure now. Now I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I know for certain the first time we saw the cadet uniform was that fake cadet when they were all in... When Picard and those others had been kidnapped and put in the, like, weird
Oh,
room.
yeah.
And that was the first time we saw the cadet uniform.
Yeah.
She was Bolian, and she had, like, yellow instead of red in the black. She definitely didn't have pockets, and I don't think she had any pips.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Wesley, I won't call him Ben for no reason. Nope, Wesley. What? Damn it, now I'm overthinking it.
Ben Crusher.
What is happening?
Kylo Crusher.
If Wesley didn't have
Ben.
pips in the game, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If they didn't exist until they were doing this ceremonial bullshit.
Yeah. Did we have anything else about
pockets?
First Poopy?
Yes.
Go on then.
Plenty. Let's talk about Wesley being a liar. and Picard guilting him into telling the truth because Picard figures out his ploy.
Picard worked him.
Why do you want to talk about the plot?
Because I have a note actually that I want to bring up.
Okay.
That's because I happen to know that the people on the writing team, so Ronald Moore and Michael Piller, disagreed on what the ending should be. Piller ended up pulling rank and saying, "Nope, Wesley's going to come clean, and that's how we're going to end the episode because that's what I would want my kids to come clean if there was something like this because the truth is our first duty and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
While Ronald Moore originally wanted it to be that Wesley would remain faithful to the rest of his team because if he did tell the truth, all the kids would be kicked out if he spoke up. And not speaking up means that everyone gets to stay in the academy.
Well, Wesley was in an impossible position in the end because Picard had him dead to rights. He knew exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And, regardless of what Locarno said about, they have no evidence, as soon as he described the thing...
anyone would believe Picard.
Yeah.
He's the captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah, anyone's
especially if he's saying something against Wesley. It's like...
Yeah, Picard's... They're going to believe Picard.
They're going to believe Picard, yeah.
And then you have the other side, which is, if he does come clean, he's a rat and a tattletale.
Locarno will never talk to him again.
That's for the best.
Neither of the girls will put out.
From Wesley's
they weren't going to anyway.
From Wesley's perspective, yeah. And I think it goes without saying that Leffler ship has sailed at this point, huh? With the old,
Oh, yeah.
He's not getting with Leffler.
Oh, that.
Was that a fisting gesture? What was that?
Well, clearly.
Oh, okay.
Clearly.
Anyway.
Fisting does come up in about 40
an inordinate amount of episodes of a Star Trek podcast.
So anywho, what I was going to say is... What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So I don't think... And I think the episode did handle it because on one hand, it's Wesley really didn't do anything right. he came clean when
because he had to.
He absolutely had to. He had no choice.
After the bell rang.
He waited until after the bell rang, almost like he was like, man, I wonder if I say after the bell if it won't count. You know, like what? Like it sounds like something I would think of.
I sort of wondered if they were going to be like, nope, nothing else is permissible now that the bell is rung.
But like the thing is, in the episode, it didn't really. Like, because on one hand, you're kind of indicated to be like, okay, well, at least he did the right thing in the end, but he didn't. Mm-hmm. But really, it doesn't matter because the punishment would have been the same whether he did it or not. He learned he was very, very wrong, and he learned an important lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Always listen to Picard.
So, yes.
He is basically an actual.
And the important lesson is make sure the flight recorder is destroyed. Fully.
Also, go destroy all those recording stations. On
also, how about this for a lesson? How about this for a fucking lesson? How about the fucking emergency transporter automatically engages when it detects a collision?
There's an idea.
Shit.
Yeah,
that's smart. That'd be good.
That would make sense.
But what if, like, the starship wasn't destroyed and just kept flying into space straight on
down,
forever,
or
and it blows up on a planet or something?
It would just get... Well, it was near Titan and Saturn. It would have gotten pulled into something.
There could be people there.
And I'm sure...
On Titan, probably.
It seems to me like there should be an emergency system in place. Because, like, what if you were doing, like, a super high G turn and you passed out?
Yeah.
And you couldn't... And then you were going to crash into a planet. I don't know. It seems like there should be more safety features, especially in like in a training ship.
Yeah.
You think they'd have security on the fucking flagship?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like driver's ed where there's a guy next to you holding a fake brake?
I thought it was a real brake.
Oh yeah.
It's not a fake. They just threaten I totally step on this brake.
I think it's a real brake.
That's great.
Amazing. Is there anything else on the first duty?
Phil Locarno is a jackass.
Yeah, Locarno sucks. Wesley was in a bad place. The Vulcan was a bad actor. Well, he's a bad Vulcan actor. Oh, one final thing. What the fuck was up with Admiral Grandma being like, Picard, Wesley Crusher was in a terrible accident. Could you tell his mom for me? I don't feel like doing it.
Also, she starts it off as like, I have bad news. You knew Wesley Crusher, right?
Seriously.
Oh, yeah, and then his face gets all like...
She really buries the lead on
that
one.
Yeah, you're supposed to start with, okay, so everything's fine, but...
Which is, maybe that's why she had Picard. Maybe she's been told, like, Admiral Grandma, you suck at delivering bad news.
I mean,
there's been a terrible accident.
I feel like
the printer ran out of ink.
I feel like the usual protocol is for like that message to go to the captain, and the captain would. Like, I feel like in this situation, this is normal.
Probably. Yeah, it's probably his responsibility.
I don't really know.
To be the one to give the bad news.
Being captain sucks.
Yeah.
That's why Riker won't do it. He would hate to tell Bev that her son got horribly named.
Because his sex life would suddenly slow down to a halt.
That's the real reason.
He's stuck on the
fuck
ship all the
around
time.
so much if you're
it's not like the Kirk days.
Nope.
Speaking of fucking around as much as you want, Lwaxana Troi.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I loved this episode.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think...
I found this so goofy.
Okay, I have two thoughts. I have
but I loved it.
Alexander heightened Lwaxana and made her really, like, more tolerable than usual. Conversely, Lwaxana just makes Alexander insufferable. More insufferable than usual. Ha! It's my laughing hour!
You know what it was with Lwaxana in this one? Because Deanna has been repeatedly defying her and focusing on her career, she finally gets to be somebody's annoying grandmother.
She should have adopted Alexander.
She should have.
Yeah.
That would help everyone.
If she adopts him, she can't marry him when he's older.
Oh, you don't know that.
That's true.
Oh man, it's like
you disown him at some point.
Oh, what's that movie called?
Harold
and Maude. It's Harold and Maude, but Star Trek.
Oh,
Sweeney Todd is what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's like a 20-year-old guy has an affair with like an 80-year-old woman.
Hot.
It's actually a really good movie.
That's what I've heard.
I didn't realize it was I had no idea that...
Yeah.
And it's from like the 60s or 70s. It's wicked old.
So yeah, I know this episode also written by Peter Allen Fields, who wrote Half a Life. So this guy just knows how to do Lwaxana.
Well, and it follows on from it.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell a lot of this, her decision is being driven by...
her fear of dying alone.
That sort of began to bubble up in that episode.
Why does she have to do this, like, sight unseen marriage shit? Like, I'm just, like...
Right. It was a desperate.
Some computer said it would work.
But Lwaxana is a fox, okay?
Yeah.
She could get a
she's
man.
A sexy old
lady. If she
lady.
wasn't really fucking obnoxious, she'd get all kinds of men. I'm sure.
But Picard keeps saying no.
Yeah, but
I think, well, I mean, like, even her personality is definitely, like, up the alley for a lot of guys.
Oh, yeah.
For some guys.
I mean, Timothy was...
She's
got a galaxy full of guys.
She's also a good-ass time.
Yeah.
Guys like women who are a good time.
Bring everyone to the Parallax Colony? That'd be great.
I definitely enjoyed, like, I thought she was really rocking that blue-green cleavage gown.
Oh, yeah. She's always got great cleavage, though. Lwaxana rocks the cleave. She nails it.
See, I kind of, like, by the end, I was like, okay, one of two things. Either Lwaxana's been exaggerating and not all Betazoid women are like that, it's just her, because how could Tony J go into this not realizing? Or alternately, the dating program they used was literally that episode of Futurama where Bender just picked random people and put them together. Because that made... nuisance.
Well, it's also possible...
They were both old and single, the only people in the whole universe who are old and single.
But I mean, his culture seems diametrically opposed to, if not her culture,
but opposites attract.
Yeah, but also you gotta figure, like, if this is 24th century Tinder...
Yeah.
Are people really filling out those profiles accurately?
Well, that's a
There's
good question.
Have they ever?
There's a matter of, like, what she might have told the computer she's looking for.
Yeah.
Or what she's like. She
because
also may have, like...
that's also true, because she probably put in there she wanted stability, she wanted
royalty.
Yeah.
She wanted someone that was in power.
Got the dick.
So yeah, she got that guy, who was a total snooze.
And she wasn't even allowed to address him as, like, his name.
Yeah, that was
and
weird.
stuff. I was like, fuck this. This sucks.
Get the fuck
Well,
out of
she
that.
could, except that what do they call him? The protocol master wouldn't let him.
That
Urko or whatever.
Yeah,
What a
Urko, the
doofus.
She called him Jerko at the end. I was like, you're my favorite ever.
So I'm watching this, and I'm like, I know that voice, and I was like, oh shit, it's Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. And also, somehow I never made this connection, even though I loved it as a kid. He was also Megabyte in Reboot.
Who was
Yes, Tony J.
The boring husband.
this? Oh, okay.
Campia?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like, holy shit, he was Frollo and he was Megabyte.
You know what's
that's
wrong is she
amazing.
needed to dress in like some flowing Romani clothing and have a tambourine and a pet goat, and then he would have been all about
He goes
that
and has
shit.
a Catholic breakdown, yeah.
That's why she was maybe hoping she could get Alexander to put on a goat costume at some point.
The
Help her out.
that
Jolly.
sun caught in her raven hair. He would have been all about that shit.
But yeah, no, I felt this was a natural extension of sort of the arc that started with
Half a Life?
Half a Life.
Boner
So I think that's part of the reason I think she was, even though she was being as ridiculous as ever, was more tolerable.
Yeah, she had a really great moment because it's also her first episode after Jean's death.
Yes.
That's
Talking about
true.
how lonely she is, how she tells Alexander
Yeah, I'm alone.
I did not make that connection.
Yeah.
Well,
That was particularly
my
heartbreaking.
Memory
Rachel
Alpha helped me with
Barrett
that,
was
but-
also a fox, just like Lwaxana. So I'm sure she was okay. Yeah, that's sad.
But as much as I've grown to appreciate Lwaxana as a character, and I know that future episodes with her are also good.
I think we only have one left because I
In
don't
this
think
series.
she's in. I don't think she's in. Yeah, in this series, I don't think she's in season 6.
No, but she is in DS9, and I like her DS9 appearance.
Nice.
However, it does seem like a continuation of the same problem of that TNG has had all along with its women, which is that she's very much, I need a man! A man! Come in, lover boy!
Oh no, it's like that Roger Rabbit scene.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what
what
he's
it
quoting.
That was the joke.
What is she? Mina? Hyena?
Something like that.
Yeah, Lena Hyena.
Or is it Vina? It's something
Like-
hyena.
Like, I don't know. I wish there was a little more to Lwaxana, that like every
That's
every
fair.
appearance
You
of her.
see little glimpses of stuff underneath the thirst
but
for
like,
men.
really, she just boils down to
Need a man.
need a man.
Getting older.
And even in her future appearances, or at least what I'm thinking of, it's the same.
Like she retains her independence for sure. Even
Oh yeah,
with any man, she could like still be
Yeah, she is
this powerful
distinctly
woman.
in charge.
yeah. I don't know.
She wears the pants
don't
and
know
the frolic-
what I
or the
would
frilly
want
dresses.
more, and it's not like we would have a lot of time to really explore other character traits of hers, but
I mean, we could definitely see her more in her capacity as the keeper of the rings of Beta Z, or
Well,
whatever.
she's an ambassador, too.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
supposed to be an ambassador.
Like, there are plenty of things that we could see her doing besides men.
Yes. And I guess like in this episode, we, in addition to the man plot, we also get the caregiver. You know,
Yeah, I loved her with
Teacher.
She's a
Alexander.
great grandma.
Yeah, she's a good grandma.
Also,
bringing that kid to that fucking weird place.
It's just normal for this society, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the holodeck, so none of it's real.
Like, why was it so fucking weird? Why were the
because she's into that.
You mean the mime head bubble bullshit? Nope. These are my notes.
Oh, I love mime head bubble guy.
You didn't like the wind dancer?
No.
I
noped the fuck out of that.
Though. I liked when Worf popped it.
I did not like the mime head. I did not like fucking Wily Kid and Whitey Cat. I did not like fucking old Deuteronomy. That was in my there's my cat's reference. I did not.
I liked the juggler.
I liked the fire.
Juggler's alright.
I
like the fire sculptor. That was kind of cool.
That was
okay. She was alright. She was alright. And there was a butt. Not my kind of butt, but still.
Whose butt did we see?
Was that the dancer?
The dancer around the mud pit.
Oh,
that was
the one thing that I thought was weird.
Anything but paint.
You didn't think it was weird that they were sitting naked in a vat of...
Well, you couldn't see anything,
but
you
know
have
that
a stripper come through.
They had to get naked to get in there.
Yeah, but
so
maybe
that means that
strapless
that means
bra.
that Lwaxana Troi took Worf's son into the holodeck, had him strip, and then they got into a tub together.
He might have been wearing skivvies.
This is something that happens in other cultures where, like...
Yeah, some people are totally...
It's
think
just
that's totally normal. I don't, but...
I don't think it would... I mean, maybe Worf would be fine with it. I think he should have been asked.
You think the Rogenkos did it with him?
I don't think Worf would be bothered by it just based on his reaction at the end scene, where he doesn't even bother to cover up Alexander's eyes. I was waiting for that trope. For, like, when it focused on Alexander,
instead it was the protocol droid and Frollo.
Instead Alexander's standing there like, I've seen it all.
He actually like smiled.
Too late,
it was
I've seen it all.
smile.
Because, like, she was having her moment, and she was doing the thing.
But I do. And I'm not... In the future, it's different. So, and I think we were talking about last week how there's some relaxed attitudes about nudity and sexuality.
It's what Gene would have wanted.
Yeah.
Because an early draft of Star Trek the Motion Picture explicitly had like just an establishing shot on Earth, not at like Starfleet HQ or anything, just like a park in Frisco.
Just like an orgy.
And just mentioning like, oh yeah, everyone's like casually nude because no one cares anymore. And it's like...
Oh, Gene Roddenberry.
And somebody went, Gene, we want this movie to be, like, rated PG? Throwing that out there?
Yeah. Well, he was definitely a
hornball.
Kooky, horny man.
Yeah, but I thought that the whole colony thing was just Gene's backyard, so...
I love the little bubblehead guy, though. He was freaky.
His makeup looked cool.
It was cool really makeup, but it was creeping me out.
Decent
and I did like that Worf popped him.
Yeah, that was funny. I enjoyed him, and I also enjoyed the popping. I was fine either way.
I just don't like that thing. No, don't you dare make the... Don't puff up your cheeks at me!
Deanna is... so bad at family therapy.
Oh my god.
She's so bad.
Like, here's the thing. Maybe
to be fair, Alexander is bad at being a family member.
But so is
As is Worf.
Can I just... The quote of that scene.
Which quote?
Troi to Worf and Alexander. I sense a touch of hostility, gentlemen. Just fucking...
Good job, Troi. Nailed it.
Like, Lwaxana
She's
maybe...
an empath.
Lwaxana overcorrects a little and overindulges Alexander. But, like, she does make a good point. It's like, all right, so if Alexander doesn't keep up his end of the bargain, Worf's the parent, he can enforce that.
Yeah.
What does Alexander do? Oh, nothing. Like what, rat him out to Deanna? What's she's gonna do? Worf. Hands on hips.
Well, and like the other thing, too, is, and we've mentioned this before with Troi, is she does the absolute fucking minimum and then pawns the problem off elsewhere. And it continues here where she has a little meeting and then she's like, well, why don't you leave my office and go write yourself a fucking contract?
Yeah, she's not even helping them write the contract.
No.
Yeah. She just sends them away to go do it on their own.
It's especially hard because, this is a post-scarcity society. So why do people even do their fucking work to begin with? Like, why would you reward Alexander for doing things? Like, there's no more allowance in the future. You don't play the
permitted to do things that you enjoy.
He's gonna do them anyway. Worf can't stop him.
Well,
I'm sure he can
find
put
a way to
up
lock in his
send him to that Klingon school. They'll straighten him out.
But I think there's there is even evidence there that it's not just that Alexander is a little shit, but that Worf doesn't really know how to dad.
No.
Like, I think there's a great moment where he's like, where Alexander's like, oh, I promised Lwaxana I'd go see her right now. And he's like, well, it's your dinner time. He's like, well, yeah, you said Klingons don't break promises. And he's like, well, that's true.
Dinner time is also a promise.
Right, well, the thing is, he doesn't really explain, like, well, this was a promise first. You can't... Like, he didn't explain why it was wrong.
Yeah.
He did just
And
confuse
he also doesn't
him.
know how to compromise, because you could easily compromise and say, let's invite Lwaxana to dinner time.
Yeah.
Let's combine our two things and
Yeah.
all enjoy the thing.
And you explain that you shouldn't make a promise that conflicts with something that is a previously existing promise. Like, he is, I mean, to the show's credit, like, yes, Alexander's very annoying. But they do show that Worf kind of has no fucking clue what he's doing. And Deanna's not helping.
I think it's believable for both.
Oh, it totally is.
Alexander coming from in that.
But I think I like that they made it believable. And not just like, Alexander is just an unrepentant little shit. No. It's like, he's annoying, and Worf is also really at sea, which again, he should be.
Yeah.
You know, this is not something he was in any way prepared for, and again, Deanna's fucking useless.
And Alexander's not had stability, like, much stability in his life, literally. No. Like, his mother died before him traumatically.
Yeah.
Passed off from her to Rozhenko's to Worf, back to Troi, back to Worf.
Well, and like, you know, both his mother and his you know, adopted grandparents raised him in a much more human way, and then he's dumped off with Worf the Catholic Klingon.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh... So I think they wrote that dynamic really very well. And I'm impressed with them for that, because that could have been easy to fuck up. And Lwaxana's better at wrangling family issues than Deanna.
Well, she's, like I said, she's a really good grandmother.
Yes,
that's exactly what it is.
She's good at sparing the rod, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
except when she doesn't.
There was one moment that I kind of loved.
Mr. Wolf?
That too.
That happened a couple times.
It did. But, even Lwaxana, though, for all her sort of libertinism or whatever, made a comment basically referencing the fact that Deanna's uniforms are terrible.
Yeah.
They're not going to work, but do any of your things have collars?
Oh, she wears that blue dress at the wedding, though. She looked damn good.
That was a nice dress.
She looked damn good.
She also got her hair done.
And she got her hair did. And
what was up with that hat, though, in the final scene?
I don't know, it was her hair, totally.
Her quote-unquote hair?
Yeah, her 10-foot-tall Marge
Simpson hair.
Oh. Can someone pull it up? Because I don't think I even noticed that her hair was ridiculous.
Her hair was enormous.
Worf in the mud bath, you just sit here.
I imagine he's just like letting out big Klingon farts and watching it bubble up.
It just takes.
Is this a Klingon? Is this a Klingon fart?
Speaking of farts, how fucking useless was that B plot?
Oh, I wrote down at one point.
I forgot it existed.
What is even happening in this side plot?
Oh, that's the wedding, but
no, it's not what
it gets taller. At the
yeah, she like puts it. Sorry, she puts it up to get in the mud.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
She's pulling like a Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, Jake, that the B plot, you forgot it existed. And they didn't, like, you see at a moment, you know, they're in the holodeck together and starts to malfunction. You think, oh, okay, so they're going to be threatened with... Nope, they just go away until the B plot is over, and then we get back to her plot.
There was a moment where, you know, the replicators weren't working, and Lwaxana always has trouble with the replicators anyway. And it gives her a sausage cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, oh, well, the replicator just knows that she wants sausage.
They're also empaths. Better empaths than Troi.
The way that was set up, though, was it was just like, yep, she fucked up, and then you cut to engineering.
Why do I have a cup full of dicks?
And it's like, they're like, yeah, we got reports of all these things breaking down, and you're like, oh, it's not just Lwaxana. Okay.
Even I didn't think she could fuck that up that badly.
What I missed, though, was the scene where they started playing music and got the Enterprise to come to life and walk from Liberty Island to the museum and smash to the ceiling. And then they rappel down and...
Caitlin's never seen Ghostbusters 2.
Oh. So the goo...
I just don't remember the moment.
The goo that was dripping all over the Enterprise...
The alien poop.
Makes... It bears a shocking resemblance to the slime that was the major plot mover in Ghostbusters 2.
Gotcha.
But again, it is in fact alien excrement, but they refuse to call it that.
That's true.
The nitrium parasite?
Yeah, so this is what it would leave behind. It's like, it's poop. Say it. Yeah. Your ship's being turned into poop.
Yeah, say that. I thought that too. I was like, wait a minute, did you say that was shit? Awesome.
Yeah, and that whole thing, I did like the effect of the glitter landing on the saucer section.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like... It's fabulous.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a good sign, right?
And the thing is, you did that, like, that you could cut that whole plot and simply just add some extra scenes. You could have maybe
That's
had more
true. Yeah, it
interaction
doesn't-
between...
It barely
More
affects
mud
the rest of the
baths.
plot.
Didn't do a damn thing except, like,
Made
cut
some
off
sausages.
life support.
No, wait for this. Yeah, when it cuts off life support, my favorite moment happens.
Yeah.
Because somewhere on the ship, Alexander is unconscious.
Wow.
But no, you could have cut that and maybe just had some extra scenes between Lwaxana and Frollo there.
I almost feel like
I don't
they
need more of that.
they looked at the runtime of the episode and were like, oh shit, we need to do some more.
Oh yeah, it's totally what
So
it was.
they added in all of that shit. Because, there's the only
Well,
scenes...
you want to also be sci-fi-y.
But there's only 2 scenes that even touch on a connection, and that's when the sausages are in the tea,
Yep.
which is a sight gag.
Yep.
And then there's one when Lwaxana and Alexander are in the holiday.
Oh, yeah, and
and
it starts to melt. How did they get out?
They
just left.
it cut away from them.
The
We
door
didn't
was-
see them.
the
That's
door
what I
was
mean.
still
Like,
working.
oh, that's lucky. Fuck.
Yeah, they just left.
Yeah, no, the B plot was pointless garbage.
Well, that's the thing, because I was expecting it to have, real effect on them. They
Right.
weren't going to be able to get out of the holodeck.
anything, something.
They have to-
At that moment, I was like, shit, they're not going to be able to get out. It's all fucky, and they're going to, die in there, and it's
That
going to be this huge
man
thing, and then it wasn't at all. It was just nothing.
Forces them to juggle.
So
No, he couldn't. He had
He
eaten
ate his worlds.
planets,
Eating
his
his
worlds.
worlds.
so
Yeah, that was
What's that interrupting our scene? Oh, it's the B plot. Oh, let's get out of here.
so
Yeah, that B plot drove this episode way, way down. Because
Yeah,
I
that
like
was
Lwaxana,
garbage.
I hate Alexander, and the B plot was boring as hell.
It was a pretty shitty B plot.
Boo!
So where's... I had a thought. This wasn't the thought I had, but it's a note I'm looking at. When, Picard's on the elevator with Data and it starts to turn to poo. And you just figure his inner monologue is, well, at least there's no children on it this time.
Nice.
Oh my god, wait, I have to go back to the fucking Wesley episode real quick.
Yes?
When Picard's like, and you came here and I was annoyed because you were in my fucking chair, you pretentious, precocious little shit. And I was just like, yes! Anyway, I thought of you, Ames.
He's been waiting to say that for years.
So, you know what was interesting? During the initial spa scene,
He didn't even say it on what would have been his deathbed.
they were talking about, the fact that everyone has multiple beings inside of them. It's sort of a theory. At first I thought they were talking literally about the fact that, we're all made up of
Bacteria and
trillions of bacteria and other things, and there's, how singular is our consciousness if we're so many different little things. Anywho, but I realized, oh no, it's almost like a reverse Scientology, which we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where it's like, to Scientologists, get all these weird ghosts in you gotta push them out. These people are like, no, embrace the ghosts. They
ghosts.
they save you from yourself sometimes. And it's like, yeah, it's funny.
It just makes me think of Jeb or Jem or Bem.
Oh god, Bem.
What?
In the
TAS.
series.
The worst episode of Star Trek ever.
Period.
Any Star
I
Trek.
might have blocked it out.
Yeah, rightly
Yeah, it's
so.
right,
He
yeah,
was
no,
like
it's-
a colony of little beings making up one big annoying being.
Oh, nope, I didn't block it out.
Yeah, there he is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna call him Wesley. Alexander is the one. Keeps quoting the higher, the fewer. I think is that what he was saying?
Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
that's what old
That's
Deuteronomy
what Mad
said.
said.
Why?
Oh,
Why?
I don't know.
He
Ha!
was a child, and he
That's
found it
what that
amusing.
man said. He was just mimicking that man.
Ha!
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be just childlike whimsy, and he
I
enjoyed
hate him
it.
so
It was like
much.
spouting nonsense from the Mad Hatter or
I
something.
wish he hadn't woken up when everyone
How
passed
is a
out.
raven like the rising desk?
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I was alright with Lwaxana on this one. Alexander didn't annoy me as much as he could have.
No, he annoyed
It
me
was a
way-
Christmas miracle.
He annoyed me and as much as usual.
No, I thought he was a little better. I thought he was better than
With the
usual.
ha and with the
ha was
fucking-
aggravating.
The ha was bad.
the
That
higher the
scene
fewer
was-
that he says out of nowhere to warp for no fucking reason to warp.
I think he was
Well-
basically just saying, shove it, Dad.
You know what it is? I think maybe they were trying to make that come across kind of like a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious moment. Where it's like,
Or a
what is this
Hakuna
nonsense
Matata.
you're saying to me?
Not that was a thing
And
yet.
it's like, oh, it's from my happy adventures with Space Grandma.
Yeah, but you don't even know what it means, kid.
No, he doesn't. But
that
what
make-
is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
Does that make Mr. Holmberg?
Oh.
Also,
I mean-
that's a thought I had earlier, by the way. Lwaxana really, when you get right down to it, isn't looking for a man. She's looking for dick. She has a man. Her true love is Mr. Holmes.
So why bother with
They're
getting
just
married?
they're
He's
a
got a dick,
completely.
doesn't he?
Yeah, but I feel like they're like a completely platonic love.
Oh, yeah.
And
They just bang sometimes.
no, she has needs, and he.
Oh,
They're
Mr. Hom is just totally...
they have a love that transcends that sort of thing.
Spread it, Mr. Holmes.
But she has needs.
Leave
So
Mr. Home alone.
no, that's from
No, she says that to him. She says, "Spread it, Mr. Home."
Oh, I can't remember.
I think it was about
I did.
some
Oh,
food
I
that
love
she-
the
picnic.
shot
It was a picnic.
where it's like Alexander's perspective of Mr. Home, and he's just there with the pins and a big smile.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good bit. I like Mr. Home.
I like both Lurches in the Star Trek.
Yeah,
universe.
no, they're both great. And he, of course, is also pleased that his boss comes to her senses at the end.
So they can keep banging.
Because I imagine, like, he would have eventually just straight up killed the protocol dude.
Yes.
But
Like,
he
he
probably would have been very well equipped to hide the body.
Oh,
so.
I mean, he could have totally made it look like an accident.
He could have swallowed it whole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Where'd he go? Mr. Home shrugging, a bit of the guy's sleeve is still dangling out of his mouth.
Those pajamas are impossible. This actually happened.
But yes, I did like her triumphal nude strut at the end.
I like the nice
was
shot we
cute.
got of her back. I was like, hell yeah, girl. Get it.
Implied, but
Yep.
that's
Alexander's all pleased with her and also has a thing for older women now.
Listen.
They only
it's
implied
fine.
her, but they straight up showed the butt on the
the dancer.
stripper.
Yeah.
That's
It
true.
was
I'm
blue,
surprised
though.
they got away with that.
true.
Yeah,
That was
that's
pink.
yeah.
It was it
That was
pink?
like swirled green and blue.
Oh, all right,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I thought there was pink
like
involved.
It may have been.
There might have been.
There was
in
all
her,
sorts of
well, because she
colours
also
happening.
had like because it was like a body paint situation, so she
Yeah.
had like a little decoration on the front.
It was
Like
kind of like
a leafy-
Zool in a way.
Yeah, because it was like the crotch covered, and then
Yeah.
like her boobs were
Yeah,
covered
it did remind me of
with like a
Zool.
little flourish. Yeah.
Whatever, it was hot. I was into it.
Oh wait,
What?
was that Zool or Gozer?
Oh. No, I've
Zool was
confused.
the dog.
Gozer.
Yeah,
Yes,
Gozer,
it was
the
Gozer.
Gozer. It was
Gozer the
Gozer.
Gozerian was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
woman that had
Yeah.
the
There is no Dana. Only Zool.
aim for the flat top.
Someone asked you if you're a god.
Say
Say
yes.
yes.
But that's a lie.
But what if they asked you to prove it?
So the other dog, so one of the dogs was named Zool, and the other dog was named Vince Clartho.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't
Isn't
it?
that weird?
Yeah.
Worf is named Worf.
Yes.
Mr. Wolf.
Okay.
Well,
Are we done with this shit?
I think so. Are we ending on Ghostbusters?
All right. Anyway, let's wrap this shit up.
Let's.
All right. So that's all we have on these two episodes. But you can join us next week and every week. Well, these episodes will only be next week. But if you join us any other week, there'll be other episodes. Or
At
possibly...
least for the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, but you can, you know how to do it. Find us on Twitter. The next episodes are...
Thanks for picking the social platform that we barely use.
What I love about this is that, like, a couple weeks ago, they were like, Caitlin, you have to do this sometime. And I was like, yeah, I did this for, like, years on another podcast. It's okay. I'm ready.
Yeah, you've got it down with science.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Nah,
It's not
well,
as-
I wouldn't go that far.
It's not
No,
as easy
I
as
mean,
it looks.
but-
Jake basically just
Can I
punches
get,
into a
now
speaking spell.
you guys are obstructing.
Where
It's
could
true.
we find you on Twitter? As I am an avid
I wasn't
Twitter
even
user.
doing the Twitters yet. I'm doing the titles of the next episodes.
Do you do the SoundCloud?
That's coming up.
Oh.
Relax. There's a specific order.
Well, slow
hurry
your
up, I'm
roll.
so excited.
Your patience will be rewarded. Next
a
week
fortune cookie.
on A Star Steer By, we will be covering 2 new episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation. The first one is The Perfect Mate.
Ooh.
The Perfect Mate. Yeah.
Interesting.
Big time. Big fist. Femke Jansen.
Kit Fisto.
The following week, we will be doing Imaginary Friend. Yeah.
No.
Oh, maybe not that one.
Oh.
So yeah, those are 2 episodes coming up next week. Will they be good? Will they suck? Well, find out next time. Until then, you can find us on Facebook. Search for A Star to Steer Her By. You can also find us on Twitter and Tumblr, where our name is SSHB Podcast. Search that. Also, sshbpodcast.com. That's a visit.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
right.
Okay.
And SoundCloud. Search Tunes. iTunes.
Google Play.
And Google.
Tunes.
And iTunes and Google and the other tunes, all the tunes, come and get them. You know you want it. We got you. We cut.
We got what you need.
Jake just turns into Charlie Kelly at the end.
This is so magical to watch in person.
You're what you need. What you say, he's just a friend. What you say, he's just a friend. Oh, baby! All right, anyway. That's it. So, my name has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This is always Caitlin.
And I guess this is Liz.
Ha! Ha!
When is the laughing hour?
Ha!
Whenever you want,
I hope it's not during dinner hour.
Is it any time near when the revels happen? Is that what it's called? What is the thing called when they all kill each other in TOS?
Festival?
Yeah, that's it. It's a drunk
Festival.
The red hour?
Woo.
Yes,
The red hour.
Nailed it.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
The Seek to Mahara.
I actually didn't. Liz finished the rest of mine.
Oh, boy.
I did.
Oh, wow.
I'm drunk now.
Drunk
That's
guest.
right. You're not driving, so.
Nope.
Man, when I was driving,
God,
I
I
had
hope
the
it was.
fucking worst
No shit,
fucking driving school. They're,
Oh,
they're
yeah?
out of business now, so I can name them. They were called CAMS.
And shame
and
them.
they were in Waltham. And, like, here's just a sample of one of the things from CAMS driving school. So there was they had Massachusetts has, you have to do, like, N number of hours of classroom and then, Y number of hours of physical driving in the car. So I had to go to all this fucking classroom stuff, and they're like, oh, we're going to take you outside, and we'll show you in one of our training cars, we'll show you where all the stuff is and everything. It's like, we know where the stuff is. We're fucking 16 or whatever.
I wouldn't have known what the stuff
So they took us out back, and as we're going out back, there's, in their parking lot, there's several of their training cars, and I see one of them
is on fire.
it's completely wrecked. It's just totally destroyed.
Wow.
Completely totaled. And I joked to the instructor, I was like, oh man, I guess that student didn't pass. And he's like, oh no, that was actually one of the instructors fell asleep at the wheel.
No.
And I'm like, oh my lord. And they still work there too. It's like,
No. Wait, they told you which instructor it was?
yeah.
That's awful.
Was it your instructor?
No.
Oh, well, that's
My
good.
instructor was like this old ass Italian guy, and on the first day out, like really all of his lessons were like driving one student to go pick up the next student. And then drive themselves back home, and then the next student would take over and drive to the next. Like, that's how it was a pretty good system for him.
Interesting.
It meant he didn't have to drive between kids, just the kids drove themselves.
Oh, that is a good way to do it.
But, like, very first time I'm in this freaking car, and I'd only driven a couple of times because my dad could not drive with me. He was terrified. And my mom put up with it to an extent, but so I had not driven a lot. So, like, this was, like, probably my third or fourth time driving a car, was in this driving instructor, and he's like, okay, to the parallel park right here. And I'm like, what? He's like, you want to the parallel park right here. In the middle of Lexington Center.
He wanted you to parallel
He
park
wanted me
right
to
here.
parallel park
Okay.
right here in this spot, and this was like a giant fucking Buick. And, like, the spot was way too small. Or, like, I'm sure, like, now I'd totally be able to do it, but I don't know how the fuck. But I nailed that parallel park.
Nice.
I had never done it before, and I've never done it that good since. But, like, I was, like,
Beginner's
right
luck,
in
huh?
there. And he's like, okay, we'll take you back. It's like, oh, we're driving back to your house now. We got a new kid here. And so he drove back. And then, like, I feel like you're supposed to do, like, 10 hours or something.
Yeah, something.
I feel like I only went with that guy, like, twice. And then he just, like, signed the wrist. Like, you're pretty good. All right, get down.
It was that parallel park. You parallel
He's like,
parked
you
so
know what,
well.
I don't think I
This
need
guy.
it. So the reason that made me think of it was that one time, like, I was doing this thing where I was braking as I was, like, coasting down a hill, and he's like, you gotta run the brakes for doing that! Let me show you how to do it! And he slams on the brake on his side, and the whole car goes, and he goes, you see, you slow down once, and then you speed back up. He's like, you only brake a short time, but you brake a lot. You don't have to coast the brake.
Oh my god. Yikes. Oh my god.
He's a madman.
Oh, he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I feel a lot better about my instructor than mine. Just had road rage.
Oh yeah, man. This guy, he was something.
We got to have our own road rage in my driving class. One of us would be driving, and the other one would flip off the person who had fucked us over. It was great.
Amazing. Is there anything else on the first duty?